Executive
Okay.
Order 11110, halted sales of silver by the Treasury Department. Yes.
Oh, this I remember. And I
Yeah.
remember then also, and just for balance, somebody saying, "Oh, that whatever that was, that executive order," and with the curiously identifiable numerology in it, is that they sort of said, "Oh no, that it's slightly debunked." And if you read the full, or I'm just saying this not to contradict you, but if you read the full thing, it's not quite as damning as it was. And it was, say again what it's supposed to be doing anyway, that executive order.
Uh,
End the Fed. It was supposed to be ending the Fed, not
yeah,
break
and
the
it
gold
didn't.
system.
Like
Yeah,
it
no, but
didn't
that
end
was
the Fed.
different
It did
to.
what the Fed wanted. Is exact like that's the problem. Is like everybody thinks that he was trying to end the Fed, and he was not trying to end the Fed. What he
He
ended
was
up
trying to
doing,
end.
like,
Yeah,
well,
rather than
no,
trying to end the Fed, he was trying to end the gold standard. Is what you're saying there? It depends how you read it. Is that it?
silver, silver and gold. Like,
Silver
yeah,
standard. Yeah.
in my opinion, it didn't help us at all to do that. You know, it says this executive order amended executive order 10289 dated September 17th, 1951 by delegating to the Secretary of the Treasury the President's authority to issue silver certificates under the Thomas Amendment of the Agricultural Adjustment Act as amended by the Gold Reserve Act. The order allowed the Secretary to issue silver certificates if any were needed during the transition period under President Kennedy's plan to eliminate silver certificates and use Federal Reserve notes only. So he is the one who ended silver certificates to where you could, and put us completely on the fiat Federal Reserve note.
Yeah, and
So
I'll say that sounds much more what I remember, because I think what people took that was that it was an executive order where he tried to get rid of the Federal Reserve, and that this then provided a motive and a smoking gun for as to why they wanted to get rid of him, but actually doesn't check out. But what you have there is far closer to what is the actuality of events there. Yeah.
yeah, well, because people always want to play this either or thing. It's like, well, he did some things like that got him killed by them, so he must not have been one of them, right? It's like, no, that's not how it worked. It's like, do I need to show my scar how many times before like people will realize you can do something to piss them off bad enough to kill you and still have been on their side, right?
Gotcha.
Like
Yeah.
you don't
Everybody
have
loves
to.
nuance. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the lefties love nuance, but I think maybe what a lot of the rightists do is tend to see things in black and white when there is genuinely blurred edges on things.
Yes,
And also,
exactly
can I
that.
just pretty quickly say as well that as people go through life, their loyalties and allegiances change, because each person, as they're growing up, learns new things themselves and then becomes aware of stuff and can take a full 180. It doesn't necessarily make them a hypocrite. It actually might make them a fully integrated person, because as they get new information, then they kind of go, oh, damn, I was wrong beforehand. But we don't necessarily hear about them. And maybe their internal change of order of things, they don't have to broadcast to everybody or put it down in the history books.
Hmm. Well, I mean, that's very much the way it goes, and it's it's one of those things that it's hard. Like I say all the time, it's hard to judge someone's mind. I mean, you look at me; I was one of them. Like, and here I am now. I did change. Could he have been undergoing a very serious change, and that's why they killed him? Yes, very much so. But up until that point, he absolutely was one of them. The things he was
Mm-hmm.
doing was helping them. You know,
Okay.
so that's would be my position on it anyway.
And
Does
we
that
do
mean
know
that
that.
he's a totally evil person? No, doesn't. It's just like with the left. It doesn't. The left aren't necessarily evil people. Like they've had their emotions, their very soft hearts used against them. Their soft hearts and their soft heads.
Well, it's a very
They
generous way of putting it there. And I just want to say as well, like, as far as one of the official narratives goes, is that the mafia felt that they pulled a lot of strings to get him there, and therefore they were owed favors, and they controlled the Teamsters, the unions of the sort of uh, truckers type of thing, so that when they then found that JFK was going to try and end the mafia gangs, they felt like we've been double crossed, and you can understand the legitimacy of that. They might well feel aggrieved, quite legitimately, so there's obviously motive there, but it doesn't guarantee anything. But I suppose one of the funny things, and I didn't mean to get onto it, is that one of the most perplexing things about so many of the conspiracies that occurred in the 20th century and in the early part of the 21st century there, of course, too, is that it seems that there were several motives and several interested groups who likely could have maybe did team up. And I remember seeing an Onion article faking like the newspaper headlines from November 63 saying something like 57 bullets rang out from all different directions at the same time, and he was shot by basically everybody you could ever think of simultaneously, and that is probably closer to the truth than there was a single magic bullet. But anyway,
exactly that. I mean, but all this stuff, like it ends up mattering, like, because, like, okay, that was, all presidents except save one, were blood related, right? That makes all of them blood related to Charles, which by the Freemasonic, Rosicrucian lore would make them all descendants of King David.